Welcome to Let's Talk About It. A podcast gets a platform for real talk, real people, real topics, real conversations. Enjoy the show and enjoy this journey. Welcome everybody to Let's Talk About It. A platform to it's a podcast to get the platform for real talk, real people, real topics, real conversations. Today, my guest has a story about overcoming serious accidents, which one of those accidents left her partially paralyzed before she refused to give up. With help from her husband, that went against all odds and came out on top. She now does injury prevention fitness with her husband, Nolan, helping people move better, pain-free. I would like to introduce from the UK, Miss Jodie Brown. How are you doing, Jodie?
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Like I said, we talked earlier. I am so grateful for you coming on. You know, I am a beginner podcaster. People like you help us getting very better, especially injury prevention. All of us work into the gym, a lot of injuries. I've gotten injured twice in the gym, and also off the gym as well. A lot of people don't talk about injury prevention, and we go dig deep with that with you later on. But how did you get to this point of doing injury prevention for fitness? Because, like I said earlier in the intro, you went through a couple serious accidents. And if you want to dig deep into that, I'd like to give the floor to you.
Okay, so I've always been very athletic and into my sports, even from being a young age. I was a long distance runner, and there wasn't really any education back then on how to run and how to run correctly so that you don't create wear and tear on your body. And I did. I created wear and tear on my body, and I had accidents. Not because of my sport, which was running, but I had accidents just because I was a bit reckless.
Oh,
A
reckless, huh?
bit of an adrenaline junkie.
Just a little bit, right? A little bit.
Just a little bit of an adrenaline
Okay.
junkie, and
Okay.
when I also had what we call in England a heavy right foot when I'm driving.
Wow.
Yeah, so I had a few car accidents over the years, and you know when you're younger, you tend to just bounce back. You don't realize the impact that some of these things have on you. So when you have an accident injury when you're younger, you get back up and you carry on, and sometimes you don't realize the impact of the injury till many years later.
Mm.
And often my husband and myself, when we're working with people, will say, you know, what's your history of injuries and accidents? And they'll say something that happened maybe like 15 years ago or 20 years ago. They'll say, oh, I did this, you know, I had a car accident, or I dislocated my hip or my shoulder, or I broke my leg, but that was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It matters. It
Okay.
matters because those injuries can make little adjustments in how we move and how our joints move. And often the problem won't manifest until many years later. It's kind of like running a car on your tires. Your tread looks fine, the car's running fine. You can be on thin bare tread and your car keeps going and you don't know it until boom, that tire's gone, and then you're like, oh, the tread does wear out.
True. True.
And especially if you think about a car wheel being slightly unbalanced and out of alignment. Let's say you clipped a curb in that car and it kind of put your wheel tracking out of line.
Mm-hmm.
It'll keep going. It
Yeah.
will keep going, and it will keep going and keep going. But eventually, it'll wear in a certain spot, and then it'll explode. Now, depending on how much mileage you do, it will go sooner rather than later. But our bodies are incredible. They'll go for years and years and years until they won't. And so this is kind of what we discovered, and I certainly discovered on my own fitness journey, is that all those little injuries, all those little accidents, they all matter. And over time, they accumulate, and eventually that tire bursts. So this was where my husband and mine's journey started, is when people, essentially hit a curb or have an accident, have an injury or a trip, we look at realigning it, straightening things back up, and then strengthening to maintain that correct tracking, that correct alignment, so we don't get that wear and tear. So it's all about management.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the accident that got you partially paralyzed, was that a car accident as well?
No, actually, I mean, I've had a very serious accident falling off a horse when I was younger. I've had a couple of car accidents. Um, I've bumped myself, fallen over, all kinds of stuff. But the actual accident that left me partially paralyzed was really quite insignificant in comparison. So I'd been to a bookstore. I lived in the Cayman Islands at the time. I was coming out of a bookstore and I was carrying my baby.
Mm-hmm.
And I think pregnancy as well can put a lot of pressure and strain on our body. And if you're already at that stage, I think that can kind of send you over the edge. And I tripped coming out of the bookstore and I had her in my arms. So my natural instinct is to protect her, not break my fall. And but it was one of those trips where you think you've took the step but you haven't, and oh, the step's not there, and it was so it must have kind of whacked my pelvis out of line, which, excuse the pun, the straw that broke the camel's back. Which sent my lumbar spine into a sudden jolt, and that was it. I was done.
Oh my God. Oh
yeah.
Yeah, because I saw in your bio you say it took you like 9 months to even walk again.
Yeah. So I ended up in hospital, obviously, and I couldn't walk, and everything had gone into like a chronic spasm as well. So my spine was like an S bend, and that was a huge contributing factor as well, because any kind of movement was just excruciatingly painful. But my right side from the waist down and my right leg just wouldn't work.
Wow.
Just would not work, just would not operate. And the doctors and the surgeons said that the only chance I had of walking again, and if I did walk, it would be with a walking aid, would be to have this surgery on my spine where they would put artificial discs in to basically restack my spine up. But it came with huge risks, huge risks, and I wasn't prepared to take that.
Oh my goodness. Now, you said in your bio, right, that your husband Nolan was with you the whole time, very supportive and this and that. That is a fantastic thing, right? Now,
Yeah.
now with your car accidents and what happened when you was carrying your child, like, so that got you two together, like to come up with the whole injury for fitness plan.
Yeah, I mean the car accidents were before I met him, and I'm 51 now, so I've got a long history of accidents before I met my husband. We've been together for 17 years, 18 years this year.
There you go.
But yeah, so I was with him when I had the accident, but he has a long history in athletics. So he was a very successful athlete in Jamaica.
Okay.
And 400-meter hurdles. And he had a really bad accident where he tore his hamstring and his Achilles. Otherwise, we would have been looking at an Olympic athlete for sure, because he's very fast.
Really?
He's very fast, yeah. But he wasn't too disheartened by that, because he always wanted to go into athletics coaching and the physio side of things. And so he always had that interest, and he's always been in athletic coaching, etc. And once he started to understand about injury prevention himself and proper stretching techniques and proper running form, etc., he got himself back in shape. And in his late 30s, 40s, he decided to take up football refereeing, among all the other things that he does. And within 2 years, he was an international FIFA referee.
Okay.
So he was reffing sort of World Cup qualifier games in the CONCACAF region, and just so happens that the fitness coach for his team of referees that he used to train with, because they have to be elite level fitness. If you think about a footballer only has to be fast when he's on the ball.
Yeah.
A referee has to be they have to be on the ball the whole time.
He's
They have to
running
be fitter
everybody
than
down.
the footballers. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, man.
So he got given with his past, he got given the chance to be in charge of the fitness for the FIFA referees where he was. Now he implemented a lot of exercises that focused on strengthening the lower body for injury prevention. And in the time that he was there, that he was in charge of all the refereeing, it was the least number of injuries that any single group of referees had ever had in the history of FIFA referees.
Wow. So
And they
I'm sorry. One question. So you both had your injuries. Did you guys learn like from schooling or stuff like that, or you just like kind of like went by other people about getting into like stuff like this?
Yeah, we did. We've been on courses with different people, and they've been great, and we've taken something away from all of them.
Mm,
But the biggest thing, I mean, is learning from our own bodies
mm.
and learning what works. And my husband and I are real nerds when it comes to movement and joint mobility. I mean, most couples will sit and watch a movie at night.
Yeah.
We will sit or stand, and we'll just go, look at this one exercise. What if I did this? What if I made this adjustment? And we'll analyze it together, and we'll play with it together. We'll be like, oh, that's good. Oh, I like that. Or we'll
Ah,
see somebody else's exercise and we'll watch them, because that's we sit and watch YouTube channels on exercise and stuff, and we're like, and we're going, I don't like that. There's something not quite right, but could we make that better? And so we'll watch things, and we'll literally work on each other, and we'll try things out, and we'll understand it, and we'll develop things. So I don't think there's anything particularly new that we've created. But we just take a lot of disciplines and put them together and look at what makes sense and what works, and we'll adapt things, because
put your own spin
sometimes,
on it. Yeah.
yeah, we'll put a little spin on it. I mean, the human body's an absolutely amazing, fascinating thing, and
Okay.
muscles have got their own behavior and psychology. And they're, once you understand that behavior pattern and
Mm,
their responses, or their language, should I say, because they
okay.
have a way of communicating with you. The
Okay.
whole idea of movement and injury prevention exercises and stuff, just becomes fascinating. And we are a bit nerdy, the pair of
Now,
us, a bit of a nerdy couple when it comes to this kind of thing.
now, do you
But
guys get into like lectures or books about the human movements, body movements, to like
are we
learn
into them,
more?
or did you say we've written? Have we written them?
Have you like watched them to learn more about human body movements?
All the time, all the time. What we tend to watch a lot of, though, is we'll watch videos on athletics, on people doing sports, and we'll study how they move, and the thing, and what they are what their body requires of them to do the exercise with, and we try and think of, right, what exercises would work with that. So if that's, let's say, for example, let's say footballers, they're very vulnerable to knee and hip problems later in life. I've known a lot of them had knee replacements and hip replacements. And so we'll look at, what is happening to make for that to occur.
Okay.
What is it about that sport that makes that occur later in life? And then we'll look at things that we can do to improve that and prevent that and limit that, because you can't eliminate injuries 100%, but
Yeah.
you can definitely limit the risk of it, that's for sure.
Now, now the football you're talking about, is it American football or you guys football? Because I know you guys
Us
call
guys
football over there,
football.
huh?
Us guys football.
There you go. There you go. Now I was just wondering because, like, some people here like, okay, well, yeah, but it's a little bit different.
Same
So
thing. Yeah.
yeah, it is. To me, it's the same thing. But I don't know how they do all that running. I can't do it. I don't know how no one did all that running because I don't even like to do cardio. So I don't even like to do
I
no
don't.
treadmill.
I hate doing cardio.
So what was the moment? So when you guys got together, when you started this journey with injury preventers, what was that moment where you was like, okay, honey, let's get into this? Like, when was that first moment you said we're gonna work together and we're gonna put this out for people?
I think it's something that came about when, when my recovery started taking place. I mean, he's always had this idea that he wanted to be some kind of physio, fixing people's bodies and stuff.
Yeah.
And I started out doing yoga. So even before my accident, I was really into yoga, and I got
Okay.
qualified as a yoga teacher. But that whole idea, the whole yoga did not prevent me becoming injured. It may have saved me somewhat, but it wasn't the recovery journey. But that doesn't mean that we haven't taken some principles from that and some ideas of that and things that we've learned and adapted them. But it was the recovery. The idea of doing this was when it became real. Like, okay, I'm upright, I'm walking, and we'd spent so much money on osteopaths, chiropractors, taking information from the surgeons who were absolutely adamant that I wasn't going to walk again. I had no chance. And, who the hell they didn't say this, but they said this.
Yeah.
Who the hell do me and my husband think I am, that we're going to overcome, we're not physios, we're not osteopaths. Who the hell do we think we are, thinking that we're going to overcome this? When all
Wow.
the experts are saying we can't help you, there's nothing we can do. And then
Oh,
when it became real, we were like, this happened for a reason.
yeah.
What
So,
happened to me happened for a reason. We were meant to do something with this. This wasn't meant to be just about me getting better and us carrying on with our lives. No, there was too much to share.
well,
Too
but
many
that's
people suffering for us not to
absolutely,
do what
absolutely.
we do.
I've
Yeah.
asked you a question. When you was going through that, how, like that 9 months before you even start walking again, to start your rehab, like how was your mental at that time?
Hmm. Interesting. It was interesting because I never, as soon as I was told, this is it. You better get used to it. And they wanted to give me a wheelchair, and I won't repeat what I said when they wanted to give me a wheelchair, but it wasn't very nice, and they were a little bit
Hey,
strong.
if you want to say it, go ahead. I got you.
Begins with F and ends with off.
Hey, listen, trust me, you can say it wherever you want. It's an open platform for you. Go ahead. I'm listening.
So I was like, no, you can get lost. That's not happening. And they kind of wanted me to accept it. Certain people, certain friends wanted me to accept my fate. And I was like, you've got no chance. You've got no chance. I've spent too long dreaming about climbing trees with my little girl and doing all these things with my husband and all these travels. I mean, I'm a what we call a itchy foot. I
Yeah.
like to travel and explore.
Uh,
And
yeah. See.
I just said, no, there's no way. So off we went, and my husband carried me home. And it was, in terms of mentally, I never doubted I was going to walk again,
Mhm.
because I never pictured myself as being disabled. I never pictured myself paralyzed. I use the word now, but back then, I wouldn't even allow it to be said in the house.
Wow.
Somebody tried to say it, I'd be like, no, mm-mm. It's not part of my world. It doesn't exist. So I was very strong mentally in that respect. But then there were so many things. I had a new baby,
Yeah.
and we hadn't long been married either. This was the start of my new life, and I would get very frustrated. And there's times I get very angry. My husband used to take me to the toilet and bathe me and help me get dressed. He'd have to do everything,
Wow.
as well as looking after the baby. And I would get very frustrated, and I get depressed about that sometimes. And sometimes when you're frustrated, sheer frustration, not being able to do something, when half of you really is determined to do it, and then the other half of you is saying, "Not today, love." I get angry at times.
Mhm.
I'd get angry at myself. I'd get angry at my husband, or that was misdirected, because none of it was his fault. He was doing everything, but he was the person there. So not only did he have to deal with his own day-to-day job, but he had to take on nearly all the household stuff. He had to look after me, and he had to take on my shit when I was dishing it out, because there was times I'd get very upset and very angry. So that was very hard to deal with for him. And
Jody, let me tell you something. I want you to deliver this message to your husband. Oh, when Nolan, when you see this, brother, you a real man. You a real man. A lot of people complain they don't have a real man. Guess what? This young lady has a real
yeah.
man. He
Hmm.
took, he stepped up to the plate because you know how
Oh,
social media is. I want a man. I want a man. Guess what? You have a man, a grown ass man. Nolan,
mhm.
congratulations to you, brother. I give you hands up. You are a grown ass
Thank
man.
you.
Seriously. How'd you the injury prevention? Like, is there certain steps, certain exercises you do to start this off? Do you like go by body parts and like for all your videos you guys watch? Like, talk to me about that.
We tend to start with the feet. So if you think of a building that's got cracks in the plaster, cracks in the
Foundation.
brickwork, it's creaky, it's nearly always down to the foundation. And we are an upright structure like a building.
Mm.
And when I pretend these are feet, when something's like out of whack with those feet, it's going to misalign the bones of the leg, the pelvis, the lumbar spine, the shoulders, the neck. So would always be our starting point. And there's a lot of stuff on my YouTube channel about feet, about foot mobility, foot function, foot strengthening, because honestly, it is the foundation of everything. You can correct so many ills in the body when you get the feet right.
Right.
Really, that's our starting point. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody talks about that. They're like feet health or even ankle health. Cause
No.
like, you gotta have your ankles. Nobody really talks about that. It's either bicep or back or stuff like that. But
Hmm.
like you said, you gotta have a strong foundation for this.
Exactly.
Like tell us like some exercises that you do like for feet movement and especially ankle strength.
Well, if you think about the foot, so there's 33 joints in the foot,
Whoa,
and then you've
really?
got the ankle, and then you've got the knee. I mean, there's that many joints for a reason. There's that many, they're designed to move. So what we would do, and there's a video on this about how to get them joints moving as well, is to work on getting all those 33 joints in the foot moving, because the foot can rotate, or it should be able to rotate, it should be able to do this, flex, and it can even sort of twist and arch and lifting the toes. So much movement there. They are designed to be a shock absorption unit, but also a propulsion unit, but also a balancing and realigning adjusting unit. They've got a big job to do, but a lot of people in fitness don't really want to look at that because it's boring. People want to see big guns, pecs. It's all about the six pack. It's all about the ass, and or arse, as we would say in England. It's
Oh
all
yeah.
about that. But we have got so many clients who look amazing physically. They just look like just super fit, and but then they're in so much pain. We've had clients who do like Miss Figure contests. You look at them on their social media, and damn, even I'm jealous. I'm like, whoa. But then they're coming to, they're still coming to see Nolan and myself every week because their back's hurting and they want to keep going, or because something's hurting. And it's such an overlooked part because it's so undervalued.
Hmm.
It's so undervalued because you don't really see it. You don't. About to say something then that doesn't sound quite right. As you don't usually get guys ogling feet on Instagram, but that would be a lie.
Right. So you see everything on Instagram nowadays, even TikTok. You see everything on stuff.
Yeah, but it's for people in the fitness industry. It's all about how they look, and people go, I want abs like that. I want a waist like that. I want an ass like that.
Yeah.
I want pecs like that. I want shoulders like that. and they just don't want to, sort of focus on the feet. And they don't sort of realize the importance of that. If you're really focusing on the strength, the muscles, and how you physically look,
Yeah.
at some point something's going to give, something's going to hurt, and you're going to stop training that way anyway. So why not just incorporate a little bit of sort of physical intelligence now to prevent it getting to that?
All right. All right. So your injury prevention. So I assume a lot of it is stretching as well, like all the different body parts as well.
It's there's stretching, yes, but it's all about. I mean, we as human beings, we are perfectly. If you look at our skeletal frame and our joints and what muscles we have, we are the perfect moving creature. We can run, we can jump, we can climb, we can swim, we can cycle. I have my issues with cycling, but there's
Me
so
too.
many things that we can do. If you look at other mammals, you get animals that are really good at climbing, but not so great at running. Some that
Yeah.
are great at swimming, but not so great. All the gymnastic stuff we can do. We are absolutely born to move. We're made to move. And so what we tend to, the exercises we do is we look at those natural movements, and all we do is create exercises that strengthen that and support that natural movement,
Mhm.
so that work on the mobility that your shoulders should have, or the mobility that your feet should have. And that's not just about stretching, that's about getting them to move in the natural movements that they're supposed to move, and then strengthen the structures that allow that movement. So the stretching and the strengthening are very much intertwined.
You know what? I'm learning something new every podcast I do, but this one is amazing because I'm on my feet all day. I'm a truck driver. I'm up and down that ramp all day, wearing boots, and I never thought about how my feet have to be this strong. Especially when you said like gymnastics, they're flipping around, they lay on their feet. We play sports, you're running with your feet. And like you said, a lot of contenders never talk about this. Like, this is
Mhm.
fantastic right here. You're the first person I ever heard anywhere on TV, social media, talk about the strength of people's feet. And that's true because we use them every day. Now, does this get into your fitness lady thing, right? When you say you have clients, right?
Oh
When
yeah.
did you
Mhm.
start that, and how long have you been doing this? Because I know you do it with your husband Nolan.
Yeah. So we've been doing it for about 13, 14 years as injury prevention fitness. Like I said, my he's got a lifelong career in sports and athletics and coaching and training. And sorry, repeat the question. I
This
lost my train
fitness
of thought. Oh, right, I got it.
got
So we left the Caribbean and we went to Spain for 2 years to really kind of develop what we do.
got
And we would do some workshops there, and we did some retreats there where people came over to do some work with us, and other instructors came over, and we did like collaborations with them. But we really kind of refined our skill and planned what we were going to do. We did that for 2 years. Then we came to England in 2013.
Mhm.
We moved back here, and that's when we really started it. So, okay, we're going to start doing some classes, and we're going to start doing some private clients. And then about a year and a half ago, we decided that we're going to really sort of develop this online. I've been setting up the business so that we can do it online, so people can access it from home. The YouTube channel's only really been active since the summer of last year,
Okay.
but that's gone really, really well.
I see that. That's a great thing right now. Now over in the UK, do you have to be certified for this, or you don't have to be?
You know what? The crazy thing is, you don't have to be, but we are.
Oh,
We haven't got a specific qualification that would qualify you to be a fitness lady instructor. We have a combination of all different qualifications, from um, gosh, we've done courses on stretching, we've done Pilates courses, yoga courses, and my husband's done courses just on feet, we've done courses just on hips. It's just we've got, you know, a pile of certificates like this of courses that we've done. So one day we will do our own course.
Okay. I love it.
Mhm.
I love it. Is there any other things when injury prevention that you want to talk about that you guys like really get into big time with?
Yeah, I mean, everything that we do is kind of across the board for people. So we have a lot of people who aren't into fitness but want to be in a good physical condition, because not everybody is.
Okay.
Not everybody's into fitness, and so what we're aiming to be is, you know, as well as for people who are into fitness that don't want to get injured in their sport, or whether at the gym, or they just want longevity in staying fit. There are people who they're just not into fitness,
Yeah.
but they don't want injuries, they don't want aches and pains, and so we cater for those as well. So a lot of our videos and instructions that we do online are catered towards those people. They go, you know, who, I don't want to go to a fitness class, I don't want to go to the gym, but what can I do to strengthen my feet and ankles you know, at home,
Love that.
so that my hips get better or my back gets better. So we're really across the board, because the human body we've all got the same human body, more or less.
This is for everyone. It's not just like you said, not just for fitness. Everybody all around the world who has regular jobs, walking down the street. This is fantastic. I've never heard this before. When it's come out, I'm going to promote the hell out of this. I think what you and Nolan does is great. I have a little side question. Like, if you feel comfortable talking about it, how you and Nolan meet?
Well, I went to the Cayman Islands as a school behavior psychologist. So my history before I did this, my job before this, was working with children with behavior challenges in education.
Okay.
And so I went to work for the education system over in the Cayman Islands, and I met him over there as well. So we had both just come out of a relationship, and we were sort of enjoying our newfound freedom. And
I get it.
I was on the beach. I was just sat on the beach reading a book, waiting for my friend to come
Okay.
along, and he was playing volleyball, beach volleyball, and I
Okay.
had to go. The only way I could get to the bar to meet my friend who was from Texas was to go past him, and Nolan was stood in this little gap between the volleyball net and this cabana, and I had no way to get past him. I had to literally brush past this guy and say, excuse me. And he'd been watching me, he'd said, the whole time that I was reading my book, and I kind of had to walk past this guy, and I looked at him and I'm like, oh my god, he's hot.
I love it.
I just saw these calf muscles and these, and you know, he has these amazing strong wrists, and he had these red shorts on and this red tank top, and he was all sweaty and had sand all down one side of him. And I got to him, and he just kept eye contact with me the whole time. I was like, oh my god. And I'm quite a confident person, and when I got close to him, he's very deep, he sounds like Barry White, and he just went hi, and I went yeah.
I love this.
And then a little bit later on, he came to the bar to find me with my friend Kayla, and just started talking. And I wasn't interested. I was like, no, you've just come out of a relationship, and I'm here. I've just got here on the island. I'm finding my feet. I'm having fun. And I left when he wasn't looking, and I was just thinking, he's too cute. He's dangerous. Leave now, girl. So I left, but he managed to find my email address or my phone number, and he was just messaging me every day for like 3 months. And eventually I went, fine, I'll go out with you. We'll go on a date. So he was quite relentless.
Go
And
ahead, no. I love this. I love this dude. I love him. I love him. Now, so is he from the Cayman Islands?
he's from Jamaica.
Jamaica. Okay. So now this going to lead me into what we was talking about earlier. You two are what you call a multiracial, I guess, couple you could call over there? I guess you.
Yeah, and multicultural. Yeah, because we're all
Okay.
one race.
Yeah,
We're all one
multicultural.
race. Yeah.
Okay, here in America, in the United States, they call that interracial over here.
Wow.
And you and I talked about this like earlier, right? The difference between multicultural and interracial. So tell us about how it is in the UK for two races to be together. Basically, I give you an example like white and black, I guess. Like, that's like an
Yeah.
example.
Let's say white and black because
Yeah,
there's
white
one
and black.
race, there's human race.
It's a
Yeah.
human race. I've been saying that for years. A lot of people don't really worry about that. Because like I said, discussed with you earlier, they classify that as interracial over here in the States, but they only classify interracial between black and white, not Asian and white or Hispanic and whatever. They only classify that. Now, you said earlier that there is no classifications, no looks over there. Like, so tell us how it is over there for like a mixed couple.
Just like any other couple.
See?
It's yeah, it's we don't know any different really. We're not treated any differently. It's never it's a non-issue.
No looks, no stares, right? See,
No.
see, ladies and
No,
gentlemen.
my husband is loved over here, but he's a very lovable person. You have to have some kind of warped person not to like my husband. He's the gentlest, loveliest soul you'll ever meet.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Because first of all, he's a man. He took care of you. Definitely. No, I just want to ask that question. There's
Yeah.
a big little controversy over here in the States about it. Uh, being especially a black male, if I date a white female or whatever, you get looks and
Hmm.
stares.
Yeah.
Over there in the UK, it's accepted. There's nothing wrong with it. You're human beings. I just wish the United States can get over to that part of it and let it go. Just
Yeah.
wanted
It's
to
crazy, right?
put that in
Yeah.
there. On a side note, how is the ongoing saxophone with Nolan lately? Because I love what you're posting. Day one, day two. I'm like
Oh God.
laughing about this right here. How's that going over there?
Oh, you know what? He's getting better. He's getting a note out. He's really determined. He ever since I met him, he's wanted to play the saxophone. And then a friend of his gave him a saxophone about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And he practices for about 15, 20 minutes a day. And we've just been away up in Scotland for a week, and he took it with him and he played it on the campsite. And even though I was saying, babe, I'm not sure people really like that, but they did. And he got joined by a man with some bagpipes. So I think that was a first. The saxophone meets bagpipes. In fact, I might go on YouTube and see if there is like a combination of the bagpipes and the saxophone somewhere. But it sounded awful. But I just had to do it. But yeah, he's determined. He's determined. So yeah, he's doing okay with it. Yeah, he's no Kenny G.
No, but he's trying, right? He's trying.
Yeah, he's trying a little bit every day, bless him, and he's enjoying it as well.
Yeah, I actually saw that what you posted over there in Scotland with the guy with the bagpipes.
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw it on Instagram. Um, one more question about the injury prevention. Your clients. I assume that you've helped out plenty of clients. Like, how is the chemistry with your clients now? Injury
Oh
prevention.
well, I say this, and I said this in another interview I did a couple of weeks ago, that my clients give tenfold to me to compared to what I give to them. So I have great chemistry with all the clients because we do in-person classes. It's not all online. And even I will never ever give up my classes. I could be 114 years old and I will still be teaching those classes. We have in our classes, my classes are never me just stood at the front, and this is
Mm,
hard to capture in the YouTube videos, and
mm,
it's something that I'm still working on how to kind of capture that the way
mm.
I am teaching in person on video. It's a work in progress. It's very much interactive, so it's almost like we're a little bit of a workshop. So they give me feedback when we're in person. They give me feedback all the time, and I never have a plan. I never plan my classes and my lessons that I do in person. I have an idea, and I think, right, I want to work on that this week. I want to work on pelvic alignment, or I want to work on upper spine mobility. And and I don't know where it comes from, but it always seems to be spot on. And I have one client, Griselda. She's so dear to my heart. She always says to me at the end of the class, she always says, "How do you always know what it is we need?" And I'm like, I don't. Well, it's my little guardian angels and telling me, having a little conversation with their guardian angels where they come in and then they put little seeds in my head, maybe. But I kind of feed off the room. So I'll watch people as they come in, and even though I'm not going to greet them and say, "Hi, how are you? How was your weekend?" I'm all the times kind of watching how they move and getting a sense of them. And then when we start moving, I'll pick 3 or 4 exercises for us just to kind of practice to get us moving. And I'm looking around the room the whole time. I'm like, right, we're not moving that quite as well as we should. So that will lead into the next exercise. And I can't ever explain how I do that. It's a weird thing, and without sounding too woo-woo, I think it's quite a spiritual thing. I have to really connect with them, with the room, and I kind of feed off them and what they're giving back to me. Yeah. And it just always seems to hit the spot, and I can't plan that. I can't sit down and go, I'm going to do this exercise, that exercise, that exercise, that exercise, and then go through it sort of like step by step. I can't do that. I can't teach that. I've tried. I can't teach that way. Okay. And so this is why I've found it tricky with the videos, because all my best classes are in person when I'm just, it's like a switch goes off. I guess when you have like somebody who's really quiet and then they go on a stage to perform and a switch just goes off, they turn into that. It's kind of like that. So how I get that across the video has been difficult. So what I started doing is recording the classes that I do in person, because sometimes I'll just invent an exercise on the spot. I'll go, oh, that makes sense. And I'll do it. And they'll say, we never done that before. And I'm like, I didn't know I could do it before. It's an experiment. You're my guinea pigs. So I've been recording that now. I've got a catalog of that. And now I'm going to be putting them into videos online on the YouTube, because they're the best ones. When I have to sit and plan it and think it without their energy, it's just not as good. It's just not as good. That's why I say to you, I need them more than they need me.
So how big are your classes? Are there big classes? Do you do one-on-ones? Do you like cap it off?
Yeah, Nolan does the one-to-ones. He sees clients individually. I do the classes. So I have got a couple of clients that I do one-to-one with, but I prefer the classes. It's that energy of that room, of that studio, that vibe. Yeah. It's just something magical about it. And I don't quite get the same when I'm working one-to-one with people. I enjoy it, but it's the classes that I really enjoy. And I have about 15 people in a class. They've been coming to me for years and years.
So you feed off the energy of the room. You just get totally into it.
Yeah. I mean, my material that I come up with, a lot of it comes from them. So I might see, Alison struggling with some ankle movement in one particular exercise, and I'll watch and I'm like, what's stuck there? What's not moving? What would help that? And I'll go, I get it. And I make everybody sort of stop, and I go, right, we're just going to do this one exercise. We're just going to try this, and then bang, it just happens. Then we'll go back and do the exercise, and then seeing Alison, Fred, or Bob, or Ted, suddenly it's like a light bulb goes off in their body, a switch goes on, and I'm just like, that's it. Wow. That's it. And it's never planned. I never plan that, because I don't know what they're going to come to the room with. It's awesome. It just kind of comes, and it's just such a, oh gosh, it's such not enlightening. It's just, it's something that you can't set out to do. Yeah. It just happens, and it always happens in that room, in that studio, just like that.
That's
Real
magic.
light bulb moments. It's amazing.
I love that. You can give me some advice. Maybe you can help me. I have a little problem. I have the worst posture in the world. What can I do to help my posture? Because like
What's called
sometimes my
what?
lower back, I'm not trying to get my lower back injured. I try to come up with different ways, but tell me what can I do like to keep my spine straight and have better posture? You think not to get
It
hurt that
depends.
way?
It depends what's causing it. I know you said you're on a truck a lot, right?
Yeah, that's I'm driving the truck all day. It's bouncing around. Should I sit in a certain way? Because I'm not trying. Because sometimes I get like I get out the truck like my back. You know.
Yeah.
So
Well, when you're sitting, and I'm catching myself doing it now, so I'm terrible. I think if I didn't do what I do, I would be one of these people with awful posture. I have to kind of work at it. But when you're sat for a long time, I'm going to stand up so you can see this. When you're sat, your pelvis tilts back like
okay,
that. So,
okay,
and of course, if you're sitting, your hip flexors are short, you're overstretched in the back, and you're not in your natural neutral pelvis. So it
yeah,
adds a lot of pressure. If you think you're overstretching the lower back when the pelvis is tipped back, and simultaneously your hip flexors are tightening, so when you come up to standing, it's like the front chain of muscles and the back chain of muscles are having this tug of war with each other,
ah,
and there's one victim in all this, and it's usually your lower back.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So there's a really good exercise, and I've recently posted it this week on my Instagram.
Oh
It's reverse hyperextensions. Do you see the one where I'm hugging a bench?
no, I ain't see that one yet, but I'm
All
gonna
right.
look at it after this. Definitely.
There's one where I'm hugging a rock as well.
I'm gonna
So
rock.
I'm just, yeah, you can do it on a table. Just holding your tables with your sort of hips here
Yeah,
at the edge of the table,
got it.
and you're just raising your legs. So, and there's some blurb on there as well, which you can read about. But reverse hyperextensions, it strengthens the whole back chain, and it also activates your glutes as well as open your hips. So it's a really, really good one. I know when my posture's been really bad, I've been sat for a long time, I have this piece of kit called a ladder barrel, and I'll lay over it and I'll hold on to it, and I will just do these reverse hyperextensions on my legs, and it activates, fires up, and wakes up your glutes like crazy. And I literally come off it and I'm bolt upright. It's amazing. So
I love this. Jody, before we wrap this up, but before I give you your last call, your last statement, I have a little game to play with you. It's my 15 questions, pick and choose randoms.
wow. This is the
Yes,
first for me. I've never done this.
yes. I know you're so excited. Everybody is. No, it's pretty fun. You got 90 seconds. Usually one kind of stumps somebody like, dang, I want both of them. No, you got to pick one.
Okay.
So we gonna set the clock. Are you ready, Miss Brown?
Okay, go.
Okay. Horror or comedy?
Comedy.
Time machine or magic wand?
Time machine.
Free travel for 1 year or free lodging for 5 years?
Free travel.
Call or text?
Call.
Pen or pencil?
Pencil.
Reality shows or documentaries?
Documentaries.
Singing or dancing?
Dancing.
Cardio or weightlifting?
Weightlifting.
Silly hats or silly socks?
Silly socks.
Rich with few friends or poor with a lot of friends?
All with a lot of friends.
Ah, Scotch, Scotch egg or black pudding?
What was that one?
Scotch egg or black pudding?
Oh, I'd have to be Scotch egg.
Poppy or bluebell?
Bluebell.
Favorite city in the UK?
Liverpool. I've just come back from there. Liverpool now.
Start work late or leave work early?
Start work late.
Okay, last one. Favorite toy growing up as a child?
I had a yellow trike. And a little trike that had a little bucket on the back that you could carry stuff in. It was bright canary yellow. I loved it.
Oh, I loved it. And you did. You beat the time too.
Oh, really?
Congratulations. Yeah. I only had 2 people that didn't beat the time. Jodie, I want to give you the last word on this one. How important it is. Like, I want you to tell people in the audience how important is injury prevention. Like, to try and learn it. How important is it to check out your channel? Give a final message to people because, like, we all go through injuries in life. Some people take care of it, some people don't take care of it. I'm definitely going to be working out for it, especially with my feet. I'm on my feet all day. I've learned so much for you. But give your final message to people.
I would say don't take your physical ability for granted, because you never ever know when you're going to lose it or when you're going to be limited by it. And having physical ability is like having freedom, because there's nothing worse than being in physical pain long term or for life, or losing your ability to be mobile and enjoy life. So if you value your quality of life and you value being mobile and active, and you don't want to be in pain when you're older, because trust me, it sucks, then take it seriously now.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard it. This lady is amazing. She's married to an amazing man.
The
Power
best.
couple, not just in the UK, but to me around the world. Thank you so much, Joy, for coming on my episode. I appreciate
Thank you,
you too.
Lewis. No, it's been a pleasure. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing it on YouTube.
Absolutely. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we will
You
see
take
you
care.
next week on Let's Talk About It.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching the show. Please subscribe, click on the bio, support the show. Thank you so much again. We'll see you next week for another amazing episode on Let's Talk About It.